Hello, everyone, and welcome to another random bits and pieces segment from my brain. And today, still a while, for we are playing some more Franchise Hockey Manager 7 with my Tampa Bay Lightning Historical Challenge. Alright, so our depth up front is being tested, and I don't have a whole lot of depth up front. And we have Keith Ketchuk that's gone for most of the season, and then Vili Peltonen is hurt for a few weeks, and then we have Ryan Smith that's kind of limping around. So yeah, we'll see how things are going. We are third in the East right now, and with those injuries, I just don't know how much we're going to be able to hold on to where we are. We still have a pretty good team, but still. So it looks like the month of November is going to be fairly busy. So yeah, I looked at who's available on the trade block, even though I don't have much of anything left to trade. Um, there's not a whole lot that's very interesting. You know, maybe Brian McCabe was the. He's 25. He probably was the most interesting piece there, but yeah, I don't think I'm gonna trade the farm, which I don't have anymore, for him. So I'm gonna stay put and see, maybe something's gonna fall on my lap. Probably not, but we're gonna go ahead and stay put for now. If the injuries pile up, it might force my hand, and we'll see then. We'll cross that bridge when we get there, as they say, and vanquish the troll that lives underneath. But for now, we're gonna go ahead and stay put. So, with that being said, the first game on the menu today is going to be the New York Rangers. So, we're going to be playing at Madison Square Garden. Then, we're going to go home for almost 2 weeks there to play against for a homestead. Sorry. So, yeah. All right, so the Rangers are 5-4-1. That's good for seventh in the East, and we are 0-1 against the Rangers this season. It was at Madison Square Garden, and we lost 4-1. So hopefully we can bounce back here. So Alex Tanguay is getting a nice promotion here on the first line, apparently. So he's going to be playing with Matt Sundin and Marcus Naslund. Now that's a pretty good first line. I like it. All right, so let's go Lightning, of course. So it looks like we're going to go to Johan Edberg for the first game of the month here. He's going to be facing Mike Richter. All right, we won 5-2 for the first game in November of 2000. All right, pretty good game. Oh, Johan Edberg actually had a pretty good game indeed, because we were outshot 44-34 in this game. Martin Straka was the first star of the game. He had 2 goals. Scott Young was the second star with an assist, and Johan Edberg was the third star with 42 saves and a nice W to his record. Alright, so we scored twice in the first period. We had Martin Straka scoring from Brian Rafalski, then Brian Rafalski from Sergei Gonchar and Vyacheslav Kozlov. It was 2-0 Tampa Bay at that point. The Rangers did score before the end of the period. It was 2-1 Tampa Bay after 1. Then we added 2 goals in the second period. Mikael Nylander scored from Ryan Smith and Sergei Gonchar, and then Martin Straka from Scott Young. It was 4-1 Tampa Bay after 2. Then in the third period, the Rangers scored. They came back to within 2, but then in an empty net, Marcus Naslund scored from Sergei Gonchar and Alex Tanguay. It was a 5-2 victory for the Lightning. Alright, so pretty good game. We did allow a lot of shots, though, but overall, pretty good game. Oh, Peter Shaslivy is day-to-day now, so he's not going to be able to play. I have some spares. I think it's a little bit diminutive to call them spares. I have some extra players. Alright, so William Davidson is happy with my work. We went 8-2-1, including yesterday's win. So he's happy with that. Not pretty happy, just happy. He's like, yeah, it's okay, I guess. Then Ryan Smith is finally completely recovered. So Shaslivy goes down. Ryan Smith comes back. Alright, so Shaslivy is not going to be able to play this game or the next couple games maybe. All right, so we have a day off here. Oh, Roman Amerlik in New Jersey is hurt. He's going to miss 5 months with a fractured eye socket. Oh, that must hurt like hell. Alright, so Roman Amerlik is out in New Jersey. Stéphane Richer played in his 1000th game in that same game. Didn't get a point. That was against the Leafs. Stéphane Richer is 34 and he has a 1-star player. Alright, we are now hosting the New York Islanders. The Islanders are 3-4-3. That's good for 13th in the East. We are 1-0 against the Islanders. We won 2-1 against them earlier this season. Fred Brathwaite is going to be the goaltender for the Islanders. We are going to go with Nikolai Abibulin. And look at that, the Islanders reverted to, you know, the jerseys that look okay instead of Captain Eyeliner. It could have happened a season or two ago. I'm just now commenting on it. Alright, so Brathwaite and Abibulin in net. And we won again, 4-2. Alright, so 2 victories against the New York teams here. We outshot the Islanders 29-25 in this game. Brian Rafalski was the first star of the game. He had 2 assists. Tom Fitzgerald was the second star with an assist. And Ryan Smith was the third star with an assist as well. 14,275 people in attendance for the game. Bill Guerin opened up the scoring in the first period. That was a power play goal from Sergei Gonchar and Martin Straka. Then Michael Lanzus from Marcus Naslin and Brian Rafalski. It was 2-0 Tampa Bay after 1. Then in the second period, the Islanders scored, made it 2-1. And then we went into the third period with the 1-goal lead. Alex Tanguay scored his 5th of the season from Matt Sundin and Ryan Smith. Then Boris Mironov from Martin Straka and Brian Rafalski. It was 4-1. The Islanders would add another goal with a minute 5 left to go in the game. It was 4-2, but it was too late. We won this game fair and square, 4-2. Excellent passing leads to productive night for Vincent Lanfous, who had 4 assists against the Buffalo Sabres. Right, we have a day off, and now we're going to host the Washington Capitals. Who is this guy? Alexander Zdan. I cannot say that I'm familiar with him. And that is because he never played in the NHL. Alright. So he is on waivers. I won't pick him up. Oh, there. Brian Leach with the Rangers suffered an injury for 5 weeks with a fractured foot. That's going to hurt the Rangers for sure. Chris Pronger is suspended in Ottawa. He's going to miss 3 games. Ed Jovanovski, former Tampa Bay Lightning, is suspended. He's going to miss 6 games in Columbus. Look at him. He was starting to get into his own there in Columbus. 6 points in 14 games. That's not too shabby. And Johan Davidson is suspended in Buffalo. He's going to miss 2 games. Wow, 3 suspensions in the same day. That must be a record. All right. Washington Capitals are in Tampa Bay today, so we're going to be facing the Caps. They are 5-8-1. That's good for 11th in the East. Let's take a look at their lineup. It's the first time we're playing them this season. So Todd Warrener is not going to play, Alexander Degg is not going to play, and Dmitry Ristich is not going to play. Wow, that's a lot of 4s on injured reserve. Right, so Kolzig and Mazin in net for the Caps. Then they have Kalle Johansson, Kultanen, Smith, Aucoin, Kevin Hatcher, Ken Klee, and Marek Zidlicki on D. Up front, they have, I think it's Mike Leclerc. I think that was his name. Yeah, Mike Leclerc, Jean-Yves Leroux, Thornton, Cook, Schroeder, Chris Drury, Thornton. Shitaroni, Paye, Richards, Bundra, Konowalchuk, Larak, and Velicevic. All right, so getting Joe Thornton definitely makes them a little bit more proficient. Even though he's young. How old is he? 21. Joe Thornton is 21 right now. Okay. All right. Let's see if we can beat the Caps. Olaf Kolzig is going to be in net for Washington. We're going to go with Johannesburg. And we lost 2-1 to the Caps. We outshot them 45-24, so Olaf Koze got them that W. Kelly Johansson was the first star of the game. He had 2 assists. Mikael Nylander was the second star with a goal. And Olaf Koze was the third star with 44 saves. 14,315 people in attendance for this particular game. We scored first in the first period. That was Mikael Nylander from Bogus Mironov and Scott Young. It was 1-0 Tampa Bay. Then Washington tied the game. In the second period, it was tied at 1 after 2. And then the Jean-Yves Leroux scored his first of the season, and it ended up being the game winner in the third period. That's a 2-1 loss for those scoring at home, or keeping score at home, rather. All right, so we have 4 days off, and then we're going to be hosting the Habs. Oh, that's a matchup of the current Stanley Cup Finals, which at the time of this recording, the series is 3-0 for Tampa Bay. It's going to be very hard for the Habs to come back in that one. Not impossible, but extremely difficult. All right. Oh, there's a few options. That might be what I do. I might not trade, but I might pick up somebody on waivers to make up for some of the forward depth issues that I have. So Keith Jones has been put on waivers. Brent Gilchrist has been put on waivers. And Mike Stapleton has been put on waivers. So yeah, I'm not gonna pick those guys, but eventually I might pick somebody up. Passes on point for Joe Sakic. He had a goal and 4 assists against the Wild. Pretty good game. Peter Shaslivy is starting to feel better. That's not bad. Right, couple more days off. Right, Jeff Daniels has been suspended in Florida. He's going to miss 5 games. Mark Recchi scored his 400th goal of his career. He got a goal against Pittsburgh. Mark Recchi is 32 and he is still a 4-star player. Shaslivy doing better and better. Oh, Vili Peltonen ready to return to practice, so he's about a couple weeks away, is usually what that means. Strong night for Jody All, still playing in Ottawa. He had a hat-trick against Boston. Alright, Montreal's in town. So the Habs are 8-5-2. That's good for 4th in the East. So pretty decent season in Montreal so far. We have not played them this season, so let's take a look. Right, they have 2 players that will not be able to play this game. Jeff O'Neill and Vincent D'Anfous are not going to be playing this game. In net, they have Manny Legacy and Patrick Roy, so that's a pretty darn good tandem there. Matthew Schneider, Scott Annan, Jay Mickey, Colin White, Patrice Brisebois, Eric Desjardins, and Sean Ill-Andy. That's not too shabby. Pretty decent defense. Up front, they have Benoit Brunet, John Leclerc, Colin Forbes, Steve McKenna, Brian Savage, Vincent D'Anfous, Craig Darby, Matthias Johansson, sorry. John Madden, Pascal Riom, Eric Dazé, Mike Keane, Kevin Stevens, and Jeff O'Neill. Alright, so maybe a little bit tougher up front. There's definitely decent players, but yet again, John Madden is overrated in this year's edition of the game. I don't think John Madden should be a 4-star player. 4-star player is basically, Matt Sundin level. I don't think that John Madden is Matt Sundin level. Now, don't get me wrong, John Madden was a very useful defensive forward and everything. He could score a little bit and everything, but I don't think he should be a 4-star player. So again, it looks like the game overvalues defensive forwards. It was the same thing last year, or I should say in last year's game. Alright, so let's play the Habs. Hopefully, let's beat the Habs. Patrick Roy is going to be in net for Montreal. We're going to go with Nikolai Abibulin. Go, Lightning, go. Come on, come on, come on. Oh, that's another 2-1 loss. So we lost our last two games 2-1 each time. Yeah, it's hard to fault Abibulin on that one. We were outshot 39-30. Eric Daze was the first star of the game. He had 2 assists. Nikolai Abibulin was the second star, 37 saves despite the loss. And Ryan Smith was the third star with a goal. 14,330 people in attendance for this game. Nobody scored in the first period. Then Montreal scored in the second, made it 1-0. Alright, then in the third period, Montreal scored again, made it 2-0. Then Ryan Smith scored from Teppo Numminen and Alex Tanguay. It was 2-1 Montreal at that point, but we just couldn't get the tying goal, and we lost 2-1. Good game for Ron Francis. He had 4 assists against the Devils. Big game for Mario Lemieux. He had a hat-trick in that same game. And that was 5 straight games with a goal for Mario Lemieux. And Peter Shaslivy is feeling better. And now we're going to be hosting the Calgary Flames. Oh, wow. Calgary is on a tear there to start the season. They are 12-4-1. That is excellent. So they're not going to be an easy out here. We have not played them. Let's take a look at what they look like. Right, so Shakraichuk is hurt for a while with a torn back muscle, so he's not going to be playing this game. Todd Harvey may or may not play. He is hurt. So in net, they have Mike Vernon and Tsariyov. And then on D, it's Steve Popes, Gary Suter, Brad Stewart, Scott Lachance, Al McInnes, Nick Boynton, and Dmitry Yushkevich. That would be Sandy McCarty or Steve McCarty. Sandy McCarty, Brendan Morrison, Corey Stillman, Chris Tansel, Eric Lecomte, Todd Harvey, Joe Nieuwendyk, Robert Reichel, Eric Bélanger, Andy McDonald, Matthew Barnaby, Theo Fleury, Bill McCult, and Trevor Letowski up front. Yeah, it looks like a fairly well-balanced team to me. Alright, so Sundin has been kind of quiet so far this month, so we need a wake up from him. Alright, so the Flames are going to bring Andrei Tsariyov in net for this game. We're going to go with Johan Edberg. Alright, we bounce back from that short 2-game losing streak with a 5-1 victory against a very good Flames team. We outshot them 41-20. Marcus Naslund was the first star of the game. He had a hat-trick, 3 goals. Alex Tanguay was the second star with 2 assists. Martin Streka was the third star with 2 goals. 15,734 people in attendance for the game. So Marcus Naslund opened up the scoring in the first period from Alex Tanguay and Boris Mironov, and then he scored again on the power play from Bill Guerin and Sergei Gonchar. It was 2-0 Tampa Bay after 1. Then in the second period, Marcus Naslund completed his hat-trick. Now, I'll let you decide if it's a natural hat-trick or not, because there's some debate in the hockey world about that. For some people, natural hat-trick needs to be 3 goals in a row in the same period, and for others, it's just 3 goals in a row regardless. So, depending on where you're sitting on the fence, it is potentially a natural hat-trick. Anyway, so that one was scored, assisted by Matt Sundin and Alex Tanguay. 3-0 Tampa Bay after 2. Then we went in the third period. Martin Straka scored from Boris Mironov and Brian Rafalski. Then Straka scored again. That was his 5th from Brian Rafalski and Bill Guerin. It was 5-0. And then Eric Bélanger scored with 14 left to go in the game to keep us from getting a shutout here. Alright, so it is a 5-1 victory, however. Alright, lots of news. No one could stop Markus Naslund, as we saw. He had a hat-trick in the game against the Flames. Boyd Devereaux is suspended in Columbus. He's going to miss 1 game. Joe Sakic extends his assist streak to 8 games with 2 assists against the Mighty Ducks. Nolan Pratt is back from suspension in Colorado. Eric Daze is hurt in Montreal. He's going to miss 6 months with a torn ACL. See you next year, Eric Daze. You are done for the year. Suspension over for Johan Davidson with the Sabres. He's back in the lineup. Saku Koivu had a pretty good game in Philly. 4 assists against the Suns. Chris Pronger is back from suspension in Ottawa. And Mario Lemieux extends his goal streak to 6 games with a goal against the Edmonton Oilers. Right, we have 2 days off, and then we're going to go play in Montreal against the Habs, and we're going to try to avenge our loss that we just suffered to their hands. Dick Tarnstrom is back from suspension in Detroit, back in the lineup. Thomas Holmstrom keeps fans on their feet all night. Now Holmstrom plays in Phoenix in my save here. A long time ago he was a part of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Holmstrom had 3 goals against the Rangers. And Steve Thomas played in his 1000th game in his career. Didn't get a point. He plays for Atlanta now, and that was against the Washington Capitals. Steve Thomas is 37, and he is still a 2-star player. Joe Sakic's assist streak ended at 8 games. Couldn't get an assist against the Pittsburgh Penguins. However, he did score a goal, so his point streak lives on. Chris Digman in Florida is suspended. He's going to miss 8 games. Oh god, Kenny Johnson is also suspended in Florida. He's going to miss 3 games. Not sure what they did against the Trashers there, but yeah. Alright, we're in Montreal to face the Habs. Now the Habs just beat us 2-1 at home. We are now on the road, so obviously we are 0-1 against Montreal. They are now 9-6-2, which is good for 4th in the East still. Nikolai Abibulin is in net for us. Patrick Roy is in net for Montreal. Oh, we got revenge. We won 4-1. Decent game for sure. We outshot Montreal 45-22. Martin Straka was the first star of the game. He had 2 assists. Alex Tanguay was the second star with 2 assists as well. And Markus Naslund was the 3rd star with a goal. So Markus Naslund scored his 10th of the season from Martin Straka and Alex Tanguay. Then Sergei Gonchar from Peter Shaslivy and Mikael Nylander. 2-0 Tampa Bay after 1. Then Montreal scored in the second period to cut the lead in half. And then Brian Rafalski scored from Martin Straka and Boris Mironov. It was a 3-1 Tampa Bay lead at that point. And then all the way into the 3rd period, Rob Blake scored in an empty net from Alex Tanguay, made it 4-1 and sealed the deal. So yet again, another quiet night for Mats Sundin. I mean, he had an 87 game rating, but he is not getting any points lately. I don't know if I should be worried just yet. Alright, so Boyd Devereaux is back from suspension in Columbus. Now we have a couple days off before we play against the Leafs. Alright, Scott Stevens is suspended in Atlanta. He's going to miss 7 games. Alright, Randy Mackey is suspended in Nashville. He's going to miss 7 games as well. Sergei Fedorov is day-to-day with a little nagging injury. And Peter Svoboda is also suspended in Minnesota. He's going to miss 6 games. So wow, that's 20 games worth of suspensions that were given out just yesterday. 3 suspensions again. There is something wrong with the suspensions in this game. Please look at it and fix it. I like that there's suspensions. I think that it makes the game realistic, but the way that they are in right now is not realistic at all. I mean, don't get me wrong, I wish that in real life the NHL would sometimes give out 6, 7, 13, and 17 game suspensions, but it barely ever happens like that, and in the game it's very constant. No further action needed for Boston's Reborg. He is not suspended, but he was looked at. Alright, we are now in Toronto to play the Leafs. The Leafs are 8, 8, and 2. That's good for 8 in the East. We have not played them. Let's take a look. Brian Berard is hurt. He is not going to play this game. Alright, and in net they have... Oh, Cristobal Huet is in net. And Dan Cloutier. Okay. Alright, on D they have Anders Eriksson, Todd Gill, Philip Kuba, Nathan Dempsey, Dmitry Mironov, Yaroslav Modry, Richard Lintner, and Shane Knighty. Right. It's not great of a D. There's worse. Up front, they have Kent Manderville, Yannick Perrault, Patrick Poulin, Rudeman, Eastwood, Gilmore, Hendrickson, Wilm, Kaliuzhny, Ryan Precht, Arnott, Jamal Myers, and Henrik Zetterberg. Oh, a young Henrik Zetterberg has entered the league. All right, we have Ed Bibolin in net for this game. Dan Cloutier is going to be in net for the Leafs. And it's a tie, 2-2. I would have preferred to win, obviously, but it's a road game. They kind of outplayed us, so you know what? Let's take the point and be okay with that. So Toronto did outshoot us 35-26. Henrik Zetterberg was the first star of the game. He had an assist. Martin Straka was the second star with an assist as well. And finally, Mike Eastwood was the third star with, you guessed it, an assist as well. Alright, so Rob Blake opened up the scoring 48 seconds into the game from Bill Guerin and Sergei Gonchar, 1-0 Tampa Bay after 1. Then in the second period, Brian Rafalski scored his 5th from Marcus Naslund and Martin Straka, 2-0 Tampa Bay. It looked like, you know, it was going to be easy, but we allowed 2 goals in the third period to allow the Leafs to tie the game. Then we went in overtime, nobody scored despite a Marcus Naslund penalty. And that's a 2-2 boring tie. At least it's not 0-0. Alright, Vladimir Kopat is on waivers. And Ed Javanovsky's suspension is over. He is back in the lineup in Columbus. Alright. We have 2 more days off, and then we're going to be playing in Dallas against the Stars, who look like they have a pretty good record. Patrick Elias extends his assist streak to 8 games with a goal and an assist against Colorado. Patrick Elias is the #1 center in LA now. Joe Sakic extends his point streak to 12 games with 2 goals in that same game. Jeff O'Neill is hurt in Montreal. He's going to miss 7 months. See you next year. He has a ruptured disc. Yikes. Jerome McGinley extends his assist streak to 8 games. He had an assist against the Suns. Suspension over for Jeff Daniels in Florida, back in the lineup. Kenny Johnson is also back in the lineup over there. Jaromir Jagr has tallied 500 assists in his career, with a goal and 2 assists against the Atlanta Thrashers. Jaromir Jagr is 28, still a 5-star player, obviously. Right, and we are now in Dallas to play against the Stars. They are 13-4-1. That's really good. Let's see why they are so good. Oh, well, they're healthy for one. Oh, Jari Lehtinen is hurt, so he's not going to play, one of their better players. In net, they have Niklas Backstrom and Mathieu Chouinard. They are both half-star goaltenders because none of them are developed. They are 22 and 20 years old, respectively. Carl Dijkhuis on D, Dimitri Kalinin, Yanni Ninima, Kim Janssen, Andrew Ferens, Bobby Dallas, Darren Hatcher, and Aaron Ward. Not too bad of a D. Maybe lacking a little bit of puck movers there. Tom Chorsky, Ulf Dallin, Sean Donovan, Tony Erkis, Bill Lindsay, Matt Lindgren, Mike Modano, Yanni Oyanen, Alexei Yashin, Andreas Dako, Jari Lehtinen, Turner Stevenson, and Alexei Morozov up front. Wow. So they can almost replicate a line that the Sens had in real life. Yashin and Dako played on the same line for a little bit in Ottawa. Right. They do have a decent team, except in net. They have two half-star goaltenders, but as we've seen multiple times with this playthrough and my Sens playthrough last year, it absolutely doesn't mean anything. Except if the goaltenders, are playing for me, obviously. Alright, so Johan Edberg is going to be in net for us. Niklas Backstrom is going to be in net for the Stars. And Niklas Backstrom, as an alpha star goaltender, is sporting a 940 save percentage. Just throwing it in there. Well, look at that. We won 41. Nice game. We outshot Dallas 30-21. Sergei Gonchar was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Matt Sundin. Oh, look at that. A name we haven't seen much this month. Second star with a goal and an assist, and Ryan Smith was the third star with 2 assists. So we took a 3-0 lead into the first period. Martin Straka scored from Sergei Gonchar, then Matt Sundin from Bill Guerin and Ryan Smith, and then Sergei Gonchar scored on the power play from Matt Sundin. It was 3-0 Tampa Bay after 1. Then in the second period, Vyacheslav Kozlov scored on the power play from Ryan Smith, made it 4-0. The Stars scored, made it 4-1 before the end of the period, so they were down 3 heading into the third period. However, nobody scored in the third, so 4-1 is our final score today. Jerome McGinley's assist streak ended at 8 games. He did get a goal, though, so that was against Montreal. And Vili Peltonen is starting to feel better. That's good. That's good. All right, so we are hosting the Atlanta Thrashers here. Atlanta is 4-9-4 this season. That's good for 14th in the East. And we are 1-0 against them this season. It was a 5-3 victory at home, and we're playing them at home again here. Alright, so Ron Tugnut is going to be in net for Atlanta. He has 4 fires to his name. We're going to go with Nikolai Abibulin. He has 2 fires to his name. And it's a 6-2 victory for the Lightning. Oh god, we dominated Atlanta 59-16 in shots. Martin Straka was the first star of the game. He had 2 goals and an assist. Alex Tanguay was the second star with 2 assists, and Marcus Naslund was the third star with a goal and an assist. 14,328 people in attendance for the game. So Marcus Naslund opened up the scoring in the first period. That was a power play goal from Matt Sundin and Martin Straka. Then the Thrashers actually scored twice and took a 2-1 lead. That was kind of brief because less than 4 minutes later, Matt Sundin scored from Sergei Gonchar and Bill Guerin to tie the game. And then Michael Enzus scored from Brian Rafalski to give us a 1-goal lead. After 1, it was 3-2. In the second period, Boris Mironov scored from Brian Rafalski and Peter Shaslevy, made it 4-2. And then 9 seconds later, Martin Straka scored from Niklas Avlid and Alex Tanguay. 5-2 Tampa Bay after 2. And then in the third period, Martin Straka scored from Alex Tanguay and Marcus Naslund. It was a 6-2 decisive victory for the Lightning. All right, Joe Sakic extends his point streak to 13 games with 2 assists against Columbus. Passes on point for Jaromir Jagr. He had 4 assists against the Hurricanes. In that same game, there was no stopping Mario Lemieux, who had 3 goals and an assist. Jason Arnott is suspended in Toronto. He's going to miss 2 games. And Vili Peltonen really close to come back. Good night for Matthew Schneider. He had a hat-trick against the Atlanta Thrashers. Patrick Elias extends his assist streak to 9 games with an assist against the Devils. And as we know it, Vili Peltonen is about to come back. All right, we are hosting the Florida Panthers here, so it looks like we have a back-to-back against them. So we're hosting them today, and we're going to play in Florida tomorrow. We have not played the Panthers so far this season, who are 12-6-1, which is good for 4th in the East. All right, so the Panthers are in good. They are healthy. However, Chris Digman is unfit to play. Jose Theodore and Edgars Masalskis are in net. Kevin Dean, Steve Duchesne, Kenny Janssen, Sherivayev, Anderson, Campbell, Warner on D. Up front, they have René Corbet, Johnson, Carey, Laurie, Sturm, Alto, Daniels, Prokopiev, Mitzanen, Kraft, Shelberg, Digman, Iginla, and Sundstrom. Alright, let's beat the heck out of them. Jose Theodore is going to be in net for Florida. We're going to go with Johan Edberg. And we won 4-1. There you go. We outshot the Panthers 43-21. Scott Young was the first star of the game. He had 2 assists. Marcus Naslund was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Martin Straka was the third star with 2 assists. 15,186 people in attendance for this game. Bill Guerin opened up the scoring in the first from Marcus Naslund and Martin Straka. It was 1-0 Tampa Bay at that point. And then Vyacheslav Kozlov scored his 5th. From Teppo Numminen and Scott Young, 2-0 Tampa Bay after 1. Then in the second period, Marcus Naslund scored on the power play from Matt Sundin and Martin Straka. It was 3-0 Tampa Bay after 2. Then in the third period, Paul Kariya scored to bring Florida to within 2, but then Boris Mironov scored less than 3 minutes later. That was his 5th of the season from Scott Young, 4-1 Tampa Bay, and that score held, and we won 4-1. Oh, Vyacheslav Kozlov got his 600 points in his career in that game with that goal. He is 28 and still a 3-star player. Brian Fogarty is suspended with the Rangers. He's going to miss 4 games. Oh, the Wild is looking to change their coach. So the Wild is 6-15-2. So Pat Burns might be losing his job already in Minnesota. I think that's a little crazy how, an expansion team comes in and then, just a month and a half into the season, they're looking to replace the coach. I think that's pretty unrealistic. Maybe something else to look at for the Devs. Memorable night for Jeremy Roenick. He had 4 goals and an assist in that game against the Wild. Memorable game for Robert Zvela as well. He had 5 assists against the Flyers. Wow. And Vili Peltonen is ready to go. So let's bring him back in the lineup. Alright, I'm going to send Mikael Samuelsson down. Alright, and now we're playing in Florida against the same Panthers we just beat 4-1. So now the Panthers are 12-7-1, but they are still 4th despite the loss. All right, Nikolai Bibulin is going to be in net for that one. Edgars Masalskis is going to be in net for Florida. And we won 3-0, so shout out for Nikolai Bibulin in that game. We outshot Florida 45-21. Masalskis, despite the loss, was the first star of the game. He made 42 saves. Scott Young was the second star with an assist, and Marcus Neslin was the third star with a goal. Alright, nobody scored in the first. Then in the second period, Ryan Smith scored his fifth on the power play from Alex Tanguay. It was 1-0 Tampa Bay after 2. Then in the third period, Marcus Neslin scored from Boris Mironov and Brian Rafalski. And then Matt Sundin scored his fifth in an empty net from Teppo Numinen and Scott Young. 3-0 the final score. Good game, guys. Good game. Right, good night for Peter Forsberg. He had 3 goals and 2 assists against the Flames. Pretty good game indeed. Joe Sakic extends his point streak to 14 games with 3 assists in that same game. Petri Eliash's assist streak ended at 9 games. Didn't get a point against Pittsburgh. In that same game, Ron Francis extended his goal streak to 5 games with a goal. And Mario Lemieux extended his goal streak to 5 with a goal and 2 assists in that same game against the Kings. Oof. Claude Lemieux is out for the rest of the season, 7 months, with a ruptured medial collateral ligament. Ruptured MCL, I guess. Is that a thing? Is that the right acronym for it? I would think so, but I'm not a doctor. If I was a doctor, I would be a lot richer than I am right now. Alright, so Vladimir Kopat is on waivers again, and Igor Matushkin is on waivers as well. And now we are in Uniondale to face the New York Islanders. So Islanders are 7-11-3. We played them earlier in the month and we beat them. The Islanders are currently 12th in the East. Alright, we are sending Nikolai Bibulin in net. The Islanders are sending Tommy Salo. And it's a loss. We lost 3-1 here to the Islanders. Alright, so we completely outshot the Islanders 36-13, but we didn't get the goaltending in that one. So Yaroslav Upsut is the first star of the game. He had 2 assists. Peter Shaslevy was the second star with an assist, and Pierre Turgeon was the third star with 2 goals. We actually scored the first goal of the game. Scott Young scored from Peter Shaslevy. It was 1-0 Tampa Bay at that point, but then the Islanders tied the game. It was 1-1 after 1. Then in the second period, the Islanders scored, made it 2-1. They scored again in the third, made it 3-1. We also had a fight in the third period between Robin Regier and Ryan Smith. But yeah, that's it. We lost this game. It happens. Oh. Matt Sundin is hurt. That's not good. Oh, he's only day-to-day. Oof. Alright, he has a pulled abdominal muscle. He's day-to-day. Minor injury from Martin Brodeur. He's going to miss like 3 days. So Sundin is 1 to 2 weeks. I think I'm not going to put him on injured reserve because if he can play, before that, I want him in the lineup. So we'll just have Agman or Varlamov play while he's out. Maybe with some, yeah, we have a 4-day break here, and then a couple days here. So I don't think he's gonna miss too many games. I don't know. We'll see. All right. Oh, we have only 1 game left in November here. So it's going to be in Washington against the Caps, and it is today, after we look at the news across the league. Ron Francis extends his goal streak to 6 games with a goal against the Bruins. Randy McKay is back from suspension in Nashville. The Wild already canned Pat Burns. So he lasted 25 games in Minnesota. And he's going to be replaced by Walt Kyle. And Peter Svoboda is back in the lineup in Minnesota after serving his suspension. Washington Capitals are 8, 13 and 2. That's good for 12th in the East. We are 0-1 against them. We lost 2-1 against Washington earlier this month. Right, so now we're going to have to go without Matt Sundin for a little bit here. Johan Edberg is going to be the first star, the starting goaltender, sorry, for the Lightning. He's going to be facing Olaf Kozig. And we won 3-1. All right, so we end the month on a good note. We outshot Washington 42-28 in this game. Ryan Smith was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Adrian Aucoin was the second star with an assist, and Bill Guerin was the third star with a goal and an assist. Michael Lanzos opened up the scoring in the first from Vyacheslav Kozlov, and then Bill Guerin scored from Rob Blake and Ryan Smith. It was 2-0 Tampa Bay. Washington scored a minute 30 seconds later to make it 2-1, so that was the score after one. Then in the second period, Ryan Smith scored on the power play from Sergei Gonchar and Bill Guerin, made it 3-1. We had a fight in the second period as well between Scott Thornton and Bill Guerin. And then, oh yeah, that's very, very, very fitting here. I don't know if you can see what I have highlighted, but in the third period, Matt Cook had an illegal check to the head and a game misconduct. That is very Matt Cook-like. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if one of my players is not out for the rest of the season or maybe dead on the ice. Yep, I guess it was Marcus Naslund that was at the receiving end of that hit, so he's injured. Fucking Matt Cook. Even in simulation game, you're a piece of shit. Alright, Marcus Naslund is out 12 days with an injury, so I think I'm going to kind of do the same thing here and just leave him on the lineup and see what happens. Matt Cook is suspended. He's going to miss 7 games. I wish it was 7 years. As you can tell, I have absolutely no respect, love, or anything for Matt Cook except for disdain. Of course, the fact that he severed intentionally Erik Karlsson's Achilles, you know, as a fan of the Sens in real life, I mean, yeah. All right, so Scott Stevens is back from suspension with the Trashers. Dynamic passing leads to a productive night for Peter Forsberg. He had 4 assists against the Phoenix Coyotes. Joe Sakic extends his point streak to 15 games with a goal against the Phoenix Coyotes in that same game. Night to remember for Brian Savage. He had 4 goals against the Edmonton Oilers. In that same game, Matthew Schneider had 4 assists. Jason Arnott's suspension ends. He's back in the lineup. And that's our November scouting. That's going to be ignored as usual. Alright, and I'm going to sim one more day so that we're on December 1st. A night to remember for Shane Doan. He had 3 goals and 2 assists against the Flyers. Prolific passing night for Andrew Castles in that same game with 4 assists. Jorgen Janssen is suspended in Chicago. He's going to miss 1 game. Radek Dvorak is out in Vancouver. He is out for 4 months. Alright. And the players of the month were Mario Lemieux and Manny Fernandez in this particular month of November. Alright, so after 2 months in the NHL, and despite some injuries to some key players, we are first in the East. It's not by all that much. We have only a 1 point lead over Pittsburgh with the same amount of games played. Our closest pursuants in our division are the Florida Panthers. They are 8 point behinds with a game on. So that's a nice cushion, but you know, the season's not over, so it's not like it's a done deal or anything like that. All right, so let's take a look in the West. Carolina is the worst team in the East. Right, so in the West, Calgary is still far there. Calgary is having a really good season. Detroit, they're always there. Dallas, Colorado, Vancouver, San Jose, Edmonton, and the LA Kings. And the worst team in the league is still the St. Louis Blues. Not going very good in St. Louis. All right, let's take a look. Matt Sundin really slowed down, so I don't know that he's still a point per game. Yeah, he's not anymore. So we have our two best players are Bill Guerin and Martin Straka. They both have 21 points in 23 games. Sundin is 20 and 22. Marcus Naslund has 19 and 23. Our best defenseman is Sergei Gonchar with 19 and 23. Alex Tanguay is having a pretty nice rookie season, 16 points in 23 games, and then kind of goes down from there. Not a whole lot more to look at here, but yeah. So we're doing okay offensively, but yeah, we did have a few slowdowns by some of our players. And if we look in the entire league, the best goal scorer is Mario Lemieux. He has 21 goals. The best passer is Joe Sakic. He has 37 assists, which means that the best scorer is Joe Sakic with 47 points. That's 3 more than Mario Lemieux and 10 more than Yager, who is third. All right. So we don't really have... We have Marcus Naslund, that's 9th in goal scoring with 13 of them. But we don't really have, you know, any leaders anywhere other than that. For the goaltenders, I don't know. I don't think we've played enough games. Like, we alternate our goaltenders, so I don't know that they played enough games to qualify for any of the stats. I mean, the stats like, you know, save percentage and stuff like that. So I don't know. All I know is that I don't see them there. But Abby Boudin does have 9 wins this season. Let's see. 927. Yeah, he would be like just a little bit below there. So I don't know if he qualifies or not. But yeah, that's where we're at here. Alright, so we're doing okay. We have some injuries, and that sucks, but it's part of life. As long as the NHL lets people like Matt Cook play hockey. Well, I guess, you know, Matt Cook doesn't play anymore in real life, but he's replaced by, you know, other piece of shit Tom Wilson. So as long as the NHL lets people like that play hockey, you know, injuries are always going to be a part of the game. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and save the game. And yeah, so as usual, I do want to thank you for tuning in, and if you've liked the video and you would like to help me and my channel, please feel free to like, subscribe, share, comment, all of that good stuff. And until I roll this game again, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.